pleased to say that we have got Genu back, who's head of the Johannesburg Road Agency's Infrastructure Development Department. As I was saying, a lot of frustration after months of work on the M1-Highway. Apparently, despite all of that, the double-decker bridge continues to flood during heavy rain. Mr. Genu, good afternoon to you and welcome. Very briefly, what's the problem?
About a week ago, Jeremy, good afternoon to you and your viewers. About a week ago, we had a flooding issue on the M1 double deck when we received the first heavy rains for this summer. What transpired is that the drainage system had been blocked, it had clogged up, and I think what we can confirm is that we didn't affected our maintenance operations. So the flooding is happening for the second time. We had a similar incident beginning of this year, I think around February, when we had the last summer rains. So what we know for sure is that we're supposed to be cleaning the drainage system twice a day. And this time around, I guess because we just came out of our winter or dry season, we dropped our guard and we didn't do the cleaning properly. So we've decided now that we're going to be cleaning it in the morning at 9 o'clock, and we'll clean it again in the afternoon just before peak hour. But also what we are doing, Jeremy, we are also reassessing our assumptions that we've made during the design stage in terms of the capacity of that drainage system. As you correctly indicated, the system was upgraded about a year and a half ago. When we finished the upgrade, it was last year, December. So a big part of that upgrade of the bridge was upgrading the drainage system.
Okay, let me interrupt you there. I've got one follow-up question here. Let's just get this clear first of all. This initially is a maintenance problem. It is not necessarily a problem of construction. In other words, the repairs, the bridge is safe. Am I right?
Look, the bridge is safe, Jeremy. What we know for sure at this point in time is that the reason there was flooding last week is because the pipes were clogged. So they had sand, they had plastic, they had bottles, they had all kind of litter that we took out when it was flooded. That we can confirm for sure.
All right.
But what also...
Go ahead, finish.
But also what we are doing at the parallel to the cleaning, continuous maintenance, is to ensure that the assumptions that we've made when we calculated the capacity of the system, that those assumptions are indeed correct. But what we can confirm is that the flooding last week was because the pipes were clogged.
How were they allowed to become clogged? Who's responsible for that?
Look, we are responsible for the maintenance, Jeremy. We've got a maintenance plan. I think what we failed to do was to ensure that that maintenance plan was effected before the rains came down. I think as I've indicated is that because we came out of a dry season, we dropped our guard by not making sure that in preparation to the rainy season, that maintenance plans are effected on time.
All right. Well, I appreciate the honesty. That often doesn't come from public servants, so thank you for that. What I'm more concerned about is you having to reassess your design specifications or assumptions. Given that this project is only a year beyond completion, did you get it wrong initially?
Just to make sure that the assumptions that were made during design stage, that those assumptions still hold. I mean, we all know that weather patterns change frequently. So we don't want to be only relying on maintenance, whereas we might have other design flaws as well. So the assessment is just to make sure that all the assumptions that we made at design stage, that those assumptions are correct and they still hold.
So what assumptions are you querying then?
Look, so you would have, as a designer, you would have analyzed the catchment, basically the area that you need to drain, and you have made certain assumptions in terms of what will be the runoff, how much water it needs to be carried, and that then leads you to estimating the size of the piping system that you require. So there's a standardized design process that a design engineer follows in terms of designing a drainage system. So what we want to make sure is that all those calculations that were done at the design stage are actually correct, or were actually correct.
Should those calculations have not been done before the project was embarked on, though?
They were done, Jeremy. They were done. But what we are trying to do is to get someone independent to ensure that whoever did those calculations, indeed their assumptions were correct.
But I'm still battling to understand you. Surely with a project of this scope and size, you would have made sure that it was 100% right at the very beginning. Now, essentially, what you're going back and saying, well, we might have made a mistake. Let's just check that our sums were right.
Look, I think that we are not necessarily questioning the assumptions, Jeremy. I think the designs were done about 2 or 3 years ago, and they were implemented and completed last year. What we are saying is that, and this is normal, what we are saying is that we want to make sure that whoever the designer whatever assumptions the designer made at that point in time, that indeed there's nothing wrong with those calculations, that we are comfortable that those calculations are correct.
All right, Genu, thank you very much indeed, Head of the Johannesburg Road Agency's Infrastructure Development Department. Appreciate you joining us. Now,